All right, David, are you here? David Beckmeyer, you said mostly here
Sorry,
to.
I did not expect you to get to me. Okay, yes, I am here.
Wait, where are you calling from?
The San Francisco Bay Area in California.
Hey, all right. I lived in Santa Cruz for quite a while.
Ah, cool. Nice place.
Yeah. Okay, so you said mostly here to listen, but I'm trying to build a community and get donate for my impact podcast. Okay. Um, and where do you feel stuck on this? It's the how do you get more people to subscribe and donate?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I'm stuck yet. I think a lot of it is really still figuring out how to find this segment and make sure I'm serving them. And I think if I'm serving them, some percentage of them will contribute.
Yeah. Well, the major thing I'd recommend on this is get some specific mentorship around podcasting and building a podcast because there are people who this is their whole thing. I can give a sort of high level, I don't have a podcast. I can give the principles, but there are people who can absolutely show you step by step how do you build this. And I'd be looking for people who've done it. I'd be looking for people who have the kind of podcast that you like and are making the kind of money from it that you would want to make. Find them, ask them, see if you can interview them or talk to them about it because they'll give you much more than I can give you. The main thing I would say, though, whether it's a podcast or an online community, a membership, is the way you can kill these things is you try to be everything to everybody. It being too general is the death knell of these things because there's so many podcasts. So it's got to be one of my favorite questions around niching is we look at the sort of ecosystem, the marketplace out there, and we say, okay, well, what's missing? And I suppose it's always a good question. Is there anything missing? Does anyone else see that this is missing? Um, and really getting clear on the ideal client, the ideal listener. So there's that webinar I've got, the ideal client webinar, which might be useful. But generally, there's these 5 levels of the ideal client. And actually, I won't go into this too much because there's a video I just did. If you go to my YouTube recent videos, it's in the last 20, I think. But it's called the 5 levels of your ideal client. But one of those levels feels most relevant here is this level of the psychographics. And the psychographics are the kind of inner things of people. So these are the scenes they're a part of, the conversations they want to have, their values, the communities they're in, all of that. And this is, to me, the heart of where we start to find our people. We think, okay, like what authors do they already read? What people do they already follow? Do you have a pretty clear sense of that for yourself?
Somewhat, it's developing. They're definitely. I picked a challenging topic because my topic is basically people who are sort of fed up with outrage culture and outrage politics and want to be less stressed out. So by definition, I'm sort of the guy who's not going to use clickbait because I talk about how clickbait is kind of bad for you. And so if I was using it, it would sort of be not
How do
cool.
you how do you define outrage culture?
Well, yeah, outrage culture is kind of the wrong word, I guess. But yeah, so basically my main thing is sort of outrage porn. It's kind of the main thing I talk about, right? And that's all these players out there that leverage that win if we that win if they get us angry and get us upset. And so that includes obviously social media happen that because we're clicking, we're engaging, we're doing all the stuff, and they do it by getting us mad. That includes politicians who want to tell us how terrible the other person is, because then you won't care how good I am because they're going to be so evil you're going to vote for me. And of course, it's also news media is doing the same thing. If we just constantly keep feeding you how terrible the other side is, it helps you feel better about yourself. You feel morally superior, all that stuff. So it's all of that. It's really the outrage industry, you might call it, right? Is what I'm sort of working on. And then that stresses out. So I'm trying to reverse that spiral, build that community so that we become that power. You just talked about to be that activist, that we can go to a politician with power and say, we don't want this anymore.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, there's the So on island A, you've got these people who are really concerned about the world, but they're burning out. Their concern is destroying them, and they're maybe concerned about the level of division that they're seeing in society. Oh my God, we're getting so divided, and this isn't helping us. And in fact, it's allowing the machine to win. And then island B is maybe they're actually still feeling some sense of balance in their life. Maybe not equanimity, but they're feeling solid, and they're making the biggest difference they can make without maybe spending 5 hours just reacting to reels on Instagram. Okay, so here's the question I would have for the group in the chat. I'm posting this at the bottom. Hubs for David. So you've heard what he's about. So if David was going to look for followers, where might he look? And let's get very specific. Maybe there's an author you can think of who might find this relevant. Maybe there's another podcast that he could go on. Maybe there's a scene, a community that you think would really resonate with this message. Yeah. So let's just take a couple minutes, and in the chat, you can just maybe hit the reply button. There's the little cloud, little comment icon next to the happy face. If you click on that, it'll allow you to reply. So let's just see what ideas, who this might be relevant for, who might be interested in this. Again, where would his people already be? Where would they already be congregating? It's one thing to say, hey, spotlight, shine on me. It's a much better thing to just, where's the spotlight already shining, and go there. Yeah, where is their attention already going? Maybe there's certain hashtags you could think of they would follow. Maybe there's a Substack account. Oh, they would definitely be reading this Substack. Maybe there's somebody on Instagram who you think is really relevant. Great. So we've got somebody saying, well, I think this community could be. Yeah. Extinction Rebellion. Sure. Yeah, there's lots of burnout there. Right. There's a Substack called Men Yell at Me. There's a group called the Common Cause Foundation that creates communications based on common values rather than polarization. Awesome. Yes, that's perfect. I think Charles Eisenstein is somebody who might be interested. The author, there's who's that fellow who wrote the Coddling of the American Mind? He might, be interested. Yeah. Or I'm also thinking about don't think of George Lakoff. I don't know his people. Maybe there'd be something there. Awaken.org. They offer monthly calls. Sharon Say So community might be your people. I could see Adrienne Marie Brown, her people potentially having some resonance with this. This just notion of not getting outraged, not getting reactive. There's probably, anyone who's teaching, people who do grief rituals, grief ceremony with the activists in particular. Anyone who's doing personal growth work for activists, healing work for the activist types, because they see the burnout all the time. Could be, yeah. On Instagram, Holly said, I'm on Instagram as at I am Holly Chapman. So maybe a resource as well. Sophie Banks, co-founder of the Transition Movement and her Healthy Human Culture work. Language for Lovers, #4.com. Sophie Banks. Okay, so Sophie Banks is the one. Great. So there's some ideas. If you've got more ideas, please hit this, put it as a response to his comment. But there you go. Those are some thoughts to get you started. And then here's the thing I would do next with this. And for anyone who's working with hubs, you're going to start with whatever hubs you know. Then when you talk to those hubs, just make sure you ask them, who else should I talk to? Because they will have other ideas for you, that you couldn't think of yourself. Who else should I talk to? Who are the other hubs? They'll know people. And just keep asking. it's an endless chain. Everybody you talk to probably can give you 3 people to talk to. So keep asking, keep going on, and you'll keep finding stuff. And the other beautiful thing is, David, as you're going through this list of hubs, as you check it out, and I would make sure you cut and paste it before you go, you will notice that some of them, as you look at it, it's like, this is absolutely not a fit. That's great. Because what it does is that can help hone your niche. Because then you realize, oh, wait, I said gave people the impression this would be a good hub for me. So I must not have been very clear. So then it can help clarify even how you articulate it. And you think about it, it's like, man, people keep suggesting this type of hub and it's not my thing. So then the next time you speak, you say, how would I say it in such a way that they would never think about those people? That would eliminate those people. And you can even say, oh, often people think it'd be connected to this, but it's not. Yeah, it's because it's more this instead. So there you go.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you, David. Sounds like beautiful work.